let's talk about YouTube. Obviously, it's the platform that I'm using to communicate with you right now as an audience, and I'm sure all of 20 people will hear this message, but that doesn't make it any less important. YouTube is broken, and it continues to be more and more broken as each day passes. Every day you hear more about small channels losing themselves to the machine that is YouTube. And you even hear about large channels having to fight the system that's in place as it is. It's honestly getting out of hand. Now, I know if you're watching this, you probably have already watched our previous video on what happened to our channel specifically. And that's sort of what this rant is about, but more or less it's about the overall YouTube scape. Now, I'm aware that this is by no means original, and every big channel has done a video like this at one point or another, but I think it's important to weigh our 2 cents in on it. The best way I can think to explain it is, let's imagine that you have a child. All right? This child is your own, you're very proud of it, and you want nothing more than to watch it grow and succeed and all that stuff. And in order to support this child, you make income on the side. Now, let's say one day you're sitting there, entertaining your child, and you get a knock on your door. And it's this government official, or I guess that's the best way I can make this work into the metaphor. Basically, someone knocks on the door and says, "Hey, we think you're doing something bad, so we're going to cut off all your funding to support your kid, and if you don't get better, we're going to completely take your kid away from you." And at that point, anyone would ask, well, what did I do to inspire this action? To which they would pretty much respond in kind with, "Oh, we're not allowed to tell you, but if you don't fix it, we're going to take your kid." That's fucking terrifying, guys. Like, it's pretty. I mean, I don't want to. Obviously, a YouTube channel is not the same thing as having your child taken away from you. It is just a metaphor, so don't take it so literally. But at the same time, keep in mind that's kind of what it's like. You are literally threatening. Well, you aren't, but YouTube is literally threatening to take away our creative invention, our I don't even know what to say. Basically, our mind child. It's such a funny way to put it in such a serious talk. Just because we're doing something that we're not even allowed to know what we did, assuming we are even doing it, it's just the fact that they can do this. The fact that they can just take something from you, or threaten to take something from you, and cut you off from things just because you might have done something, but they can't tell you what it is. It doesn't even really bother me that we might lose this channel. I'll be honest, I like this channel, but I'm not in it for the money, and I'm not in it for the views. I'm in it for the fun of making the videos. What's truly terrifying about this is that if this can happen to us, this can happen to anyone. If you make a YouTube channel, you are subject to these terrible things that could happen to you without a moment's notice, and there's nothing you can do about it. You are literally appealing to the system that wronged you in the first place. And that's just scary. I very strongly fear that 5 years from now, YouTube will not be the same at all, and I don't mean in a good way. I mean as in they will have lost the majority of their viewing audience, or, God forbid, the majority of their content creators. So if YouTube doesn't change, things look bleak. Rant over.